Every boy has a dream of becoming a police officer. And with just $40 and a trip to a public auction, I was able to fulfill my dream because I just picked up this 2003 Ford Crown Vic Police Interceptor from a public auction. This is just one of those cars that screams 2000s police chase, jumping off of a ramp, landing terribly, smashing into another car. And yes, I did pick up an undercover police car a year ago, but that was a Toyota Yaris. Does that really even count? So today we're headed to the auction to see exactly what did I buy, how much did I pay, and what did I just get myself into. I'm Officer Macho. This is Macho Motors. Let's get into it. Baby, we are headed back to the auctions to pick up a car I already won. We haven't seen it, so I have no idea anything about it, but I am so excited to be heading back to the auctions after so much time, after moving into a new shop. It's been a lot, so I want to get back to doing the car content that we know and love, and I'm looking forward to figuring out what we bought, because this seemed like the only good, decent option at the auction. And tons of junkers here. I'm already seeing the one that I'm looking at. Why is the trunk open? That's not a great sign. While we wait for the keys to show up, I thought I might as well show you a few cars that were here at the auction. Here is a 2015 Chevy Silverado 2500, and it sold for this much here. I think it only had 50,000 miles, in decent shape, but it did have a broken rear window, which I saw. You got this huge dump truck here, which I have no idea, international something, that sold for this much. There are these two completely destroyed Ford Explorers that sold for this much and this much. And I was really interested in this car, but after seeing all of the damage, another Ford Ranger with the back seats, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna pass right away. This one sold for this much. And then this one is a Ford Fusion, I think? I could be completely wrong. Like at this point, this is barely even a car. So this one sold for this much. And I don't even know if it's worth it at that point. Here's what we found here today, a 2000 Ford Crown Vic. What worries me a little bit is that the trunk is open and we just had 2 crazy rainstorms. So I'm hoping that this isn't completely flooded. Looks like there was a little bit of water that got inside, but hopefully this isn't too bad. One thing I always loved about the Crown Vics is just their absolutely massive amount of trunk space. So this is no different, but this is not what we're worried about right now. Yes, she looked old, yes, she looked dusty, but the body overall is very, very clean. I think if we do a very nice polish on this, it'll shine nice and brightly. Tires look like it got a lot of meat to it. Window was unfortunately cracked and it just rained a lot these past 2 days, so hopefully the interior isn't soaked. What are these, mints? Oh no, these are tiny little boat hats. There's like hundreds of them right here. Somebody had some free time on their hands just making origami boats. That interior would be so much cleaner if it had 3W's custom fit premium floor mats. You guys should already know by now, but 3W floor mats is one of the best floor mats on the market. It's completely odorless and uses thorax material, meaning it's eco-friendly and safe for the environment. And even after a month of use on this pet owner's car, these mats look brand new. But even if you're somebody that likes off-roading or heavy-duty work, these mats are crazy easy to clean up. This right here is no chemicals, no cleaning solution, and it's just water from the garden hose and restoring these 3W mats back to 90% of what they were. Now, thanks to 3W, this pet owner's car doesn't have to worry about hair or any sort of dog messes getting into the carpet. So if you're looking to upgrade your interior or just increase the ease of cleaning up, 3W is hooking you guys up with 33% off your entire order using my code MACHOMOTORS. So be sure to check that link in the description to get your very own 3W premium custom floor mat. I'm sure that Ford wish it had it. And as always, thank you 3W for always sponsoring Macho Motors. All right, anyway, let's pop open the hood and see what we find. Only 107,000 miles on the clock, and we have a full tank of gas, which hopefully is a good thing, and this doesn't have some really old 2000 fuel. But the interior is looking really clean, minus just some dirt on it. There's no rips or stains or cracking. Even in the back seats, I think if we just give it a nice wet vac, this will shine up really nicely. And in my opinion, this is the #1 winner in the auction. Popping open the hood, we have that beautiful Crown Vic V8, the old reliable. That's why I always bid on these things whenever they pop up on auction, because they're just super reliable. No matter the mileage, they're always really, really good finds. Just recently, they've been going for over 3,000, so I haven't been really bidding on many, but this one may be a winner. Looking for the dipstick way down here. Hopefully it's not broken. And we are in fact full on oil, power steering fluid. Looks like we have something in there. We do have some classic yellow coolant in there. It just looks a little dirty. I think the only thing left is to start it. So hooking up the jump pack, we got some sparks. We're getting beeps. Start it up just like a champ. We have no lights. We have an airbag light. We don't have an airbag light. Awesome. No check engine light, and that thing sounds smooth, buttery smooth. Hear that engine purr. We have a little bit of a squeaky pulley somewhere, maybe the tensioner, maybe an idler pulley, but overall, the engine sounds very healthy. The battery's only from 2023, so it makes me think that this car hasn't been sitting for crazy long, which is a really good sign for us, but we do have some critters that have been climbing up onto the hood. A deep clean will really bring back this shine on this 2003 Ford Crown Vic. All right, let's see if she drives. All right, taking the Crown Vic for its first drive out of this mud. They're just waiting for me to pull it onto the dolly so that way they can leave and that way I can leave and see if this was a winner. It feels crazy smooth. The steering feels smooth. Everything feels so smooth on this car. This Crown Vic just barely fit onto my dolly. I forgot how wide these things are, but I had to perfectly line it up so that way it fits on both sides. Quick check for rust underneath, and so far, besides this huge metal plate in the way, the frame is looking pretty good, muffler looks good, lines look good. Pulling it out, we do have this one little rust spot here, but not too bad overall. So now I'm gonna just load this thing up, take her home, so I'll catch you guys a bit once we have everything back home unloaded with our 2003 100,000 mile Ford Crown Vic that I think we got an absolute steal of a deal on. Pulled in nice, close, and personal. First look underneath, not too bad. Don't see crazy amounts of rust. I don't see major leaks or anything like that. The floor looks nice and dry. Even this suspension right here isn't crazy rusty. So this is looking like a winner. I feel like there's no better way to start working on a car than a fresh and easy oil change. And honestly, this oil looks really clean. I think I might be wasting a little money by changing it out. Once again, this oil looks pretty good. Not really seeing many complaints about this Ford Crown Vic so far. This oil filter way up here has been a complete pain to get to, but I think we finally have it. Yep, and ready to make a mess absolutely everywhere. What a terrible design for an oil filter. I'm gonna just try to let it drain out as much as possible. Even if the oil filter was just a little bit smaller, this would be so much easier. A little bit of a pain, but we got it done. Super happy we did because it looks like there's like a layer of rust around the oil filter. So who knows when was the last time it was done. Now it's time to just go in with 6 quarts of 5W20. Honestly, with the oil change done, I'm not seeing many issues wrong with this Crown Vic. Besides it being a little dirty, paint is faded, interior is looking crusty, the engine and transmission seems good, even though I haven't taken it for a drive. So I think that's our next step. Now that the oil change is done, let's take it for a drive. But of course, the battery is completely shot. We still got to jump it every single time. First driving the old Crown Vic. So far, no issues. Brakes feel great. AC feels ice cold, which is really nice. It's got some good power to it. Smooth acceleration. Let's check some of that police V8 power. The only thing I noticed on the test drive is 1 or 2 of the windows aren't working on the passenger side. Now that it seems like the Crown Vic is driving great, running great, I don't really have any complaints with it. So instead, we're gonna go ahead and jump into cleaning out the interior, especially with all these mini origami sailor hats or boats or whatever you want to call them. Love the effort, but it's making this interior look ancient. Keeping up with the theme of cleaning the car, we decided to take it home so that way we could clean the engine bay, interior, exterior of the car. A lot of people give me hate for pressure washing an engine bay, but as long as you keep it on the lowest setting and use a leaf blower afterwards to get any excess fluid out, it's usually good. From there, we also decided to polish up the headlights and get the exterior ready for polish. Crown Vic is looking so much better, but that's mostly just because it's wet. Once this dries off, you'll see all of that really faded paint back once again. So we're gonna dry this car off. We're gonna head back to the garage so that way we can polish up old girl and hopefully restore some 2003 Ford black paint. Now before we get into polishing, there's only just these last few stickers that we need to remove before restoring this paint. If you've never removed stickers before, it's really easy. I like to use a heat gun, heat up the area, peel it with my fingers, and it usually just comes out very easily. Make sure while you're doing this, you're always moving the heat gun. I try to heat up the whole entire letter or number or whatever you're heating up, and then go in for the peel. Have just a little bit of glue gun on a rag. While cleaning the car, I completely forgot that they left the trunk open the whole time. I went and took a peek, and this area was completely disgusting. I already cleaned it out, so it looks a lot better. But I didn't clean that ocean that is still sitting at the bottom of the trunk. Also, there's holes here for something. I'm guessing that's where they maybe had their weapon or something like that. I'm not too sure. We pretty much vacuumed up all the water that was in here. I'm gonna leave the trunk open while we buff out the entire exterior of the car. So hopefully the sun will help dry this out. I'm not a huge fan of buffing out cars, but with how oxidized this paint is, this is one of those cars that really needs it. Maybe not being in the hot sun and buffing indoors will change my opinion, but let's see how we can turn out this paint. Right now I have the lightest cut, so hopefully we can get good results. That is looking a whole lot better already. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice. Here's the before into the after. You can see how dark and faded this paint is versus nice and shiny this paint is. We just have the whole entire car to do. All right, the hood is gonna be a little bit of a better comparison. So here's the before and the after. I think I need to go over it one more time because there's still a lot of embedded imperfections in there. Unfortunately, I just got finished driving the car, so the engine is still hot and it's making the compound drive really, really fast, and it's really hard to take off. So yeah, let's do something else. And just like that, we have one side of the Crown Vic looking very, very good. There's a few spots I missed that I'll be able to see once we have it out in the light, and I'll touch up where I can. But right now, looking like a whole new car. Next day I'm polishing the Crown Vic. It is a nicer day. I think it's like high 70s. So it's way easier to buff and polish and rub off the excess polish now because it's not super hot and it's not drying super fast. So here is what we got going on for the hood situation. Of course, there's marks that polish isn't gonna bring out, but the paint is looking a lot better. Now it's like more one even color. I'm not the best buffer polisher in the world. There's some cracking in the paint that we're just never ever gonna be able to get out. So this paint, if you want it to shine all perfectly, needs a full respray, which we aren't gonna do. But as a little bit of a better example, here is this side, which we've completely done. It's really hard to tell, but I think it's looking better. So I brought it out here in the daylight since it's not a hot day out, to hopefully get a better view of the car, because under the LEDs you can sometimes miss a spot. We're gonna just keep locking in and getting this whole side done. All right, the car is looking a million times better, but there's still tons of imperfections throughout the paint that we're gonna address right now. We're not looking to make this a showroom car, but at least to bring it back to the 2010s or 2015s instead of the 2003 paint that is sitting on this car, with a little touch-up paint that should bring back some of the Ford Crown Vic's glory. Now we're gonna be turning our attention to one of the last issues, and that is this Bluetooth window that goes up and down. The motor works, but I think the window regulator is completely tangled inside. Another Ford window regulator. Hopefully I learned a few things from the last one. Let's get to it. Which starts with removing the door handle, removing the window switch, and taking off the door panel. And now we're on to my worst enemy, the rivets. I watched a few videos, so hopefully we'll have a better idea on how to remove these easily, and maybe we won't even need Old Reliable. That wasn't too bad at all. All right, we're learning. Now we could get to this barrier. I had my camera on the wrong angle, but it's pretty much just drilling out rivets over and over and over again until you get to the window regulator. We did end up bringing out mini reliable just to cut the cable to take out the window regulator easier. Victory! Oh my goodness. That looks real sketchy. Right now this window should just come right out. Thank you. I can't even explain to you guys the amount of struggle that I just went through right now, but it took this long to do just taking it apart. Time to put in the new, fresh and shiny window regulator. But first I decided to vacuum out all the rivet debris. Then we reinstalled the window. It was a tight fit, but we made it work. And then suddenly my camera died and we didn't get the footage of installing the door panel. But lucky for you, we had two broken window regulators, one on the passenger rear, one in the driver front. So I think right now is a good segment to talk about the price breakdown of the 2003 Ford Crown Vic. We were the high bidder at $1,200, but after all auction fees and taxes, we landed this car out the door for $1,331. From there, we did an oil change, which was roughly $30. I buy oil in bulk, so it's hard to price it accordingly. Then we did the passenger rear window, which was $50. We're currently doing the driver front window, which was $37. And the police costume was $32. So all-in costs for a 2003 Ford Crown Vic Police Interceptor with 107,000 miles is $1,480. I have to clean pretty much all of the windows because of my fingerprints. And now we have finally all the windows able to go down and all of them are able to go back up. A little weird that two window regulators broke, especially the driver's side, because it looked newer, but I don't know, that was the issue, so it's fixed now. I guess the last thing to do is just take it for a really long drive and see if any other issues pop up. So there you have it. For less than $1,500, we were able to purchase and restore a 2003 Ford Crown Vic. With most of them around this mileage going for around $2,500 to $3,000, I think we got a pretty good deal, especially with how little work that we needed to do. Minus the pain that we went through replacing that rear window regulator. Overall, I would say this is one heck of a restoration and really tested my polishing skills, which needs a lot of work. So if you enjoyed this one, you already know what to do. Go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. I was considering not putting this part in the video, but remember when I said, but as long as you keep it on the lowest setting and use a leaf blower afterwards to get any excess fluid out, it's usually good. The car now has a very slight misfire. I diagnosed it. There's no issues with the spark plugs. There's no issues with the fuel inject. Found out that most of these vacuum hoses are very worn out. Like if you see my finger just touching it, you can see the hose residue just comes off very easily, and that's just one of them. Another one down there that's cracked and swollen, and here's another one that's pretty cracked up and pretty much failing at this point. I think the pressure broke apart the hoses just enough to start having a vacuum leak. I'm still a strong believer that pressure washing an engine bay is okay, but in this circumstances, those parts were ready to fail, and I was just unfortunately the one to make it fail. I'm gonna go and find hopefully a vacuum hose kit for this car and replace all the vacuum hoses, and then we'll be back to a nice running police car.